My name is Andre Marcelo-Tanner. I'm originally from the Philippines. So I started in tech way back when people were called webmasters. In the days of GeoCities, I was working on Perl and PHP, just doing websites. And when cloud came along, I got into setting up cloud servers. And that was interesting. And eventually that turned into infrastructure as code and automation, and I wanted to set up the whole stack from back to front, and that got me into site reliability, and now I'm into developer automation. It's just a combination of all the experiences of being a developer and infrastructure engineer and putting it together. I now live and work in Toronto, Canada. I work for a company called Ada in Toronto. We're a AI automation startup. I help run their infrastructure and developer automation team. Platform engineering is basically an abstraction of whatever a company needs to do to get its engineering done. So it may be guides, it may be documentation, it may be scripts, but it's when a developer starts on their work all the way to the end, that is the platform. And that provides value to the business. Abstracting that into tools or more higher level systems is what the platform engineering is for me. I help build platforms for our teams. We run them, and we help make the lives of our engineers easier, and that's one way of calling yourself a platform engineer. It may not be the name of the team we call it, but definitely a lot of people are doing it. We have multiple teams within our companies that basically build platforms for other teams, and they service other teams, and that's a platform team. Yeah, in a sense, we do have multiple platform teams because they have users within the company that they solve problems for. I'd say I'm excited because it's starting to become common, having a common language and being brought out into conferences like the KubeCon, Cloud Native Con, and not just being held back behind companies' internal doors. As I the term is coming out, but it's been inside companies for 20 plus years or more, ever since there have been computers, or even before that. Companies have built internal platforms over many iterations. Big and small companies have built them with the same goal of just making things easier to do. There's more venues to talk about platforms and the ability to talk about higher abstractions on top of those platforms. So for example, Kubernetes is a platform. You can use it to abstract a complex problem, which is running distributed workloads. Now everybody's gotten really good at that. Now they want to solve the higher abstraction of making it easier for non-Kubernetes experts to run and develop and ultimately provide value to whatever they're working on. Essentially, whatever we work on, and if we get paid to do it, or even we don't get paid to do it, it's either tied to saving money or resources, or generating resources or generating revenue. And so platform can do both. You can either save time, which allows for faster delivery to market, easier to pivot, allows companies to be more nimble, or it can be allowed to respond quicker to problems and incidents. So this is what we mean when platforms allow abstractions. They make abstractions that allow companies to move quicker, do more. It's sort of going through a hype cycle similar to other technologies that they've done, but it's always been there. And you would see marketing around this from companies who obviously do want to sell and find product market fit. So I think there's confusion, or there's many things being said about it. And I think I'd like for more users and developers and platform teams, whether or not they're called platform teams in different companies, to talk about what is platform to them and how do they solve it, because then we can talk. The more we talk in the open, the more we can come out with common language. And I think initiatives like the CNCF and the TAG working group do provide these venues. Well, I think there's a lot of choices out there, and as someone working in a company, you have to figure out what is the best choice given your current circumstances, resources available. like anything, we don't have infinite time and money to do things. So we have to pick what choices we know and analyze the risks. And I think that's part of all software engineering decisions. So when we're picking something to build a platform, we have to look at what do we know, what will align with our internal company goals, internal knowledge. Can we afford this? Can we afford to support ourselves? Can we afford external support? Can we afford even to build it internally? It's quite easy to say, let's just build something because someone has an idea in their head about how to build it, but really it's about, can that live on 5 to 10 years after the person who built it has moved on? Because you do see this all the time. Once it gets into production, it stays there, and then other people have to figure out how it works. You've heard the story quite a lot about the box under someone's desk that everybody is afraid to disconnect. Now you can think about that the box in the cloud that everybody is afraid to turn off. My hope by having more focus on this in the industry and as a higher level abstraction to Kubernetes and other tools and other open source tools is that business value is created around this, and that creates economic competition for the best products to come to market. Because when everybody is competing on a level playing field, then companies can decide whether they want the full service solution, whether they want the open source, whether they want something in between. And you'll have winners on both sides. And the more options there are, the more this space elevates. And maybe in the future we'll have another abstraction on top of platform engineering. Don't know, but we have to get there. What we do know now is that there are these problems, they do exist, and people are trying to solve this at every company. So let's all solve it together rather than as individuals. Go to your local community, come to a conference if you can, watch the videos online that are freely available, go to Slack groups, ask, because most likely your problems are problems someone else has tried to solve at their place, and they may have insight for you, so you don't have to go solving the same problems over and over or making the same mistakes. KubeCon is a great conference that's open to everybody, and if you can make it here, it's a great way to interact with like-minded individuals and make connections and really just discover that your problems are the same as everybody else.